Factor each polynomial over the set of complex numbers. Use the factors to identify zeros and then sketch the polynomial. So they just want you to factor. Raise your hand if you used, what do we call it? Chunking. Raise your hand if you did chunking. Okay, if you did chunking, this is my quick work to us. My same number there is x squared. And essentially what happens is that x squared becomes whatever I chose, and that was in this case u. So I have u squared minus 10u plus 9, so instead of writing x squared, I'm writing u. And then I just factored that. Okay? But for those who are doing Xbox method, let's do that together. Remember, we've been learning that if you have a trinomial, 1, 2, 3 terms, class, what is half of 4? 2. You have a, b, and your c value. Okay, so let's go ahead and use that to factor. Class, a times c? B value? Two numbers that multiply to be 9 and add to be negative 10. Negative what? Negative 9 and negative 1. Now, because your a value is equal to 1, you don't need this next step. I want you to hopefully clearly see why it comes out to be the answer that we're going to show you in a second. And this will actually help with today's lesson. So we're always going to put the first term in the top left. So that becomes x to the 4th. I'm always going to take the middle term, which we just split, and pay attention. Remember, that is x squared. So negative 9x squared and negative 1x squared. And then I have positive 9. Let's focus on the x, or the box now. Class, what's your greatest common factor? X squared. How about this direction? Negative 9. How about up here? X squared. And over here? Negative 1. Remember, you have to multiply to check your answer. X squared times x squared is x to the 4th. Negative x squared, negative 9x squared, and then positive 9. So my answer to factor this is x squared plus 9, x squared minus 1. It is a minus 9 because I made a mistake. Thank you. Tell your partner why I left a big space in the middle. Class, is this A, B, or C? A. A, B, or C? What's my B value? 0x. And the reason why I did that is because you have to factor again. So let's get an answer for my blue here. A times C is negative 9. My B value is 0. Partner A whisper to partner B, what are the two numbers? Leslie P, what are my two numbers? Sade, what are my two numbers? Will negative 9 and 0 add to be 0? So let's write that over here. So I have x minus a negative 3 and x plus 3. Let me do the same thing for the orange. A times C is negative 1. B value is 0. Partner B whisper to partner A, what are your two numbers? Annalyn, what are our two numbers? Two numbers that multiply to be negative 1 but add to be 0. Negative 1 and positive 1. Alright, let's review what we've done so far. It tells us to factor each polynomial. So I have a higher degree polynomial, and I use my Xbox method of factoring. And I get these. I factored it again, because I can keep going, and now I have something called these linear factors. Why are they called linear factors? Because x is to the power of what? 1. Now, we're going to do the second part where it says identify the zeros. So all that means is set it equal to 0 and solve. Let's do that. So I set each of those binomials, or the parentheses, or the factors equal to 0. Nathan, here, x equals negative or positive? How about right here? Here? And here? Negative 1. So we factored, we solved or identified these zeros, and now we're going to make a sketch. So I'm going to put those onto my graph. Negative 3, negative 1, positive 1, and positive 3. Class, do you have a even or odd degree polynomial? It is a even degree polynomial because of this 4 right here. So what I'm going to do is the arrows start where? Up. And end where? Up. Don't forget you have a positive 9 as your y-intercept. And if you remember from last semester, these are all to the power of 1, so your multiplicity is 1. Those are odds. That means they're going to shoot throughout each of those values. So let's draw a sketch. So I'm going to go from left to right. So shoot through it. And a lot of quartic polynomials look like W's. So in this problem, you had to factor it, solve it, and then sketch it.